Microcosmic orbit meditation. Find a comfortable position. Wuji, standing in Wuji posture, sitting, or lying down. If you're lying down, you might fall asleep. So begin by breathing into the lower abdomen, bringing your awareness to the navel area. Imagine that you can breathe in and out of the navel. And as you're breathing in and out, gathering a ball of chi there, ball of light. And spiraling, creating a small ball of light. We're going to be going in a clockwise direction that's looking from the outside of your body, so from the top around to the left. And we want to make a ball of light about 1.5 inches in diameter. And spiraling with your mind, your breath coming and going from the navel. And this helps to open the navel center. And now dropping that ball of light to the pubic bone. Just at the top of the pubic bone, at the second chakra, the sexual palace. And spiraling the chi here, again in a clockwise rotation, helping to open and move the chi in this area. And dropping the chi to the perineum and spiraling here. Again, from the front to the left, opening the first chakra, the root chakra. Now, bringing that ball up to the tip of the tailbone at the coccyx. And now you're spiraling from the top to the right so that we are still going in a clockwise rotation. And right at the tip of the tailbone is the gate of immortality, one of the very important pumps for the cerebral spinal fluid. And spiraling the chi here again, in that nice ball, washing, clearing the channel. And now bringing the ball of chi up to Ming Men, to the gate of life. And spiraling to open the gate. Clearing the channel, opening. And then coming up the spine to T11, right behind the solar plexus. Spiraling here. This supports the adrenal glands, opening the gates here. And continuing up to the Shen Dao, this is right behind the heart, spirit gate between the shoulder blades. Again, spiraling from the top to the right, a clockwise rotation to open up the spirit gate. bringing that chi ball up to the base of the neck at C7, big hammer. This important gate brings the chi out to the arms and the hands, spiraling here, opening up this area. And then to the base of the skull at C1. This is the inspiration point, spiraling. It's called the mouth of God. And as we spiral in these places along the governing vessel, we're opening and balancing the chakras. Very important energy centers. Now coming up to the top of the head, the crown, GV20 or byway. And again, spiraling from the front to the right, opening the spiritual center, opening to connect with the Tao. And now bringing the awareness to the third eye, between the eyebrows. And now we move back to spiraling from the top to the left. This is the point of intuition, of inner sight. And with the tongue on the palate, dropping a ball of light to the center of the sternal notch, CV22, heaven rushing out the gate of truth, and spiraling the chi there, opening, moving. And now to the heart center, CV17, the gate of compassion and love, spiraling, opening, balancing the heart. And to the solar plexus, spiraling, opening the yellow court area. Sometimes called the sea of nourishment. And now dropping down with that ball to the navel, charging the ball up with your breath, breathing in and out. Charging the ball, filling the ball as you breathe in and out of the navel center. And with the exhale, dropping the ball to the perineum. Then tightening the anus, front, back, and center, allowing it to push the ball up, all the way up the spine to the crown. Inhaling all the way up the spine, and then exhaling down the front, tongue on the palate, as it drops back down to the belly. Again, breathing up the spine and down the front, back to the navel. Up the back, breathing out, letting it drop down the front. bringing the energy to these points and not really focusing on the breath, bringing the ball to the sexual center, then the perineum. Tighten the perineum and the anal sphincter, moving the ball back, up as the ball rolls to the coccyx, then up to Ming Men, just behind the solar plexus, to Shen Dao, to C7, the big hammer, C1 at the base of the skull, crown, byway, third eye, then through the tongue, through the throat center, heart chakra, solar plexus, navel, and continuing to move in this orbit, with or without the focus on the breath, remembering to keep your tongue on the palate, up the back, down the front, pushing the ball with your awareness. And if there's anywhere where the ball seems to get stuck or moves more slowly, stop the ball and with your awareness moving it back and forth, up and down in that area, like a scrub brush, washing up and down, opening the channel. So just before the block until it pushes through to just after. And once it starts to move easily, then continuing up the back, over the front. Feel the energy becoming stronger as it moves up and down the microcosmic orbit. And now, once that feels strong and smooth, we'll try the water cycle. So bringing the ball down to the perineum, and then inhaling it from the perineum up the front of the body along the conception vessel, up through the root of the tongue connecting to the palate, up over the crown, and then moving down the back. The water cycle is much more cooling. It's very yin. It increases our intuition. Moving up the front to the crown and exhaling down the back. Inhaling up the front. It's the water cycle. And letting it just fall, wash down the back, cooling the back. And then returning to the fire cycle. And the ball comes to the perineum. Inhaling up the back and exhaling down the conception vessel. And when it feels like you have this moving easily and smoothly, you can start working with the heavenly cycle. And with the heavenly cycle, as we come up the back, down the front, exhaling to the perineum, let the chi from the perineum divide into two and send the energy down the inner thigh to the back of the knee, back of the calf, down to the inner ankle, to the bubbling spring point on the soles of the feet at kidney 1. And then up over the big toe as we inhale, up the front of the foot, front of the inside of the leg, above the kneecap, and back to the perineum. Continue inhaling all the way up the spine, the regular microcosmic orbit, until you get to the Shen Dao point, right between the shoulder blades, the spirit gate. And at this point, between the shoulder blades, divide the energy in two, And send the energy across the shoulder blade to the armpit, down the inside of the elbow to the inside of the wrist, crossing at the center of the palm to the tip of the middle finger. And then over to the fourth finger, and bringing it back, up the back of the hand to the center of the wrist, up the back of the arm to the upper edge of the elbow crease, to the tip of the deltoid, and back across the shoulder blade to the Shen Dao. And then continuing up over the head, along the microcosmic orbit, dropping down the front, down to the perineum, dividing into two, letting that go down the inner thigh, to the back of the knee, back of the calf, inner ankle, bubbling spring, over the soles of the feet, up over the big toe, the front of the foot, the front inside of the leg, above the kneecap, and back to the perineum, up through the coccyx, Ming Men, solar plexus, or GV11, up to Shen Dao, and then dividing over the shoulder blades, down through the armpit, inside of the elbow, inside of the wrist, center of the palm, tip of the middle finger, over to the fourth finger, up the back of the hand to the center of the wrist, back of the arm to the upper edge of the elbow, crease to the tip of the deltoid, cross the shoulder blade to Shen Dao, and from Shen Dao up to Big Hammer, wind pillar at the base of the skull, byway at the crown, and exhaling all the way down the front, dividing down the legs, inside, base of the foot, up, inhaling up, coming up, tip of the coccyx, up the spine to Shen Dao, dividing across the shoulder blades, armpit, insides of the legs, center of palms, middle finger, up, inhaling, coming up the back of the arms, across the shoulder blades, Shen Dao, inhaling, up, big hammer, crown, and down the front. And then just returning to the fire cycle. Just coming up through the torso, and once more, up the back, inhaling, exhaling down the front, and bringing the ball, the chi, and collecting at the navel, hands over the navel, and start spiraling the ball with tiny, small rotations, getting larger and larger, 36 times, outward, usually in a clockwise rotation, or whatever feels right to you. So 36 times, getting bigger and bigger outward. And as we move the circle bigger, we disperse stagnation from the lower dantian. And then when you've done 36 rotations, start spiraling counterclockwise, coming inward towards the navel, smaller and smaller. And here we consolidate the chi as the circle gets smaller and smaller, building and condensing the chi into the lower dantian.